So as we look at what we're going to cover today, a few things that I want to note. First, a couple events that we were able to complete this year. Unfortunately, we weren't able to award any faculty mini grants this year as a result of funding, but we're hoping to secure some funding for next year so we're able to support more work. We want to acknowledge the Community Engaged Student Assistant Program. We had wonderful CSAs working on all sorts of projects this semester or this year. Our Research Fellows Program, and then we'll also be acknowledging the past Selkregg Award winners, the last 2 years. We have some information on, and we'll be announcing this year's award winner. I want to start with acknowledging all of the folks that help support us through their work on the CCEL Advisory Council and also our CCEL Community Engagement Council. Our advisory council is made up of folks from the university, but also from the community. Our Community Engagement Council is made up of faculty members. Their time and their energy and their insight has been invaluable over the last year. I want to thank each and every one of the people on this slide here for their continued work and support. Thank you all for your work. A couple of things that we were able to do this year, even in the midst of doing everything virtually still. I want to acknowledge Democracy and Civic Action Week. We had several events all held virtually. All were able to be recorded and available for folks to visit. You could still go watch some of these events now if you are interested. Really looking at connecting the community with the university and thinking through ways that we might further and deeper those connections. We have something coming up this year, or in the next month, that I want to note for all of you. Our faculty intensive. This is something CCEL does regularly, but I particularly want to note it this year as we are finally getting to be back in person. So our faculty intensive this year will be on May 6th, which is the last day of faculty contracts. And I like to call it going on a field trip. I think that one of the things that we have been missing over the past couple years is connection and an opportunity to really be in our community. And so our intensive this year will start at the Anchorage Museum with some connections to the work that's done there. And then we'll move through downtown Anchorage, talking and thinking about ways that we might connect classes, student work, and research to elements of our local downtown community. So we will be walking through downtown Anchorage, we'll be spending some time at the museum, and hopefully having a chance to develop some creative innovation and connections in the process. We do still have a couple spots left. The space is limited for this intensive, but again, there's a couple spots left. If you're interested in applying, I can have Nicola, see, this is what she does. She's always there for me. Pop the registration in the chat for you all. I now want to acknowledge the work of our community engaged student assistants, our CSAs. This work is so valuable that they provide. CSAs receive tuition assistance as a result of the work that they do, and create wonderful posters showing all of the things that they learn through the process of their project. We will have these posters available on our website by next week, and you'll receive a link to that in the CCEL newsletter. So if you are not subscribed to our newsletter, please subscribe to our newsletter, and you'll get a chance to look at all of those beautiful posters. And hopefully next year when we talk about CSAs, we'll be able to do our traditional gallery walk through the library and see these posters in person. Thank you, all of the CSAs who worked on your projects over the last year. What you did was incredibly valuable and inspirational. Thank you for your work. And here is the list of the range of those projects. Now, I'm hoping Kimberly is here. I don't see her on my screen, but she could be here. Kimberly, if you are here, please jump on the mic. We want to spotlight a couple pretty cool projects that happened over the last year. Again, I just want to note with limited resources. Kimberly, are you here? Maybe not. That's okay. We can come back to Kimberly. One of the other projects we wanted to highlight this year is the UAA Hunger and Homelessness Support Network. Sally, would you like to jump in and share a bit about that work?
Yeah, hi everybody. Thank you so much, Marcia and Nicola, and everyone that serves in CCEL in one way or another. So we actually had our last business meeting of the year with the network last Friday. And I told them I was speaking at CCEL Forum, and I just asked them, I was like, what should we talk about? And so I want to share with you our mission. We've been around for 3 years now, and we're starting to get more recognition. We're starting to build community partnerships, both on and off campus with other folks. And so just to let people know who we are, if you don't know already, the Hunger and Homelessness Support Network is all volunteer at UAA. We develop sustainable solutions for UAA students in need of food or housing support through research, service, resource development, and community partnerships. And we've been working in 4 main subcommittees for the past couple of years. And so one subcommittee is focused entirely on the food pantry, which we're very excited to announce we have a food pantry at the Anchorage campus this year. It's brand new. It's called the Seawolf Pantry. And Leslie Redmond and Amanda Walsh have been really instrumental in getting that finally to a reality, although it's been a dream for several years. We also have a subcommittee that is looking at options for providing emergency and temporary housing for students in need. We have a research subcommittee, and then we have an awareness subcommittee to help let everybody on campus and off campus know what we are and raise awareness around food and housing insecurity issues specifically for college students. So at our meeting, I just asked people, I said, we've all done a lot of stuff this year. I said, what are you most proud of that we've done? And so this is the list I'm going to quickly share with us. So this is based from everyone at our last meeting there. The awareness subcommittee has developed trainings for faculty, student advisors like the first year advisors, student orgs such as USUAA on student government. And we've done these trainings on issues like how food and housing insecurity affects students who are experiencing it, and how each of us can work in our jobs to be inclusive and welcoming to students who are food and housing insecure. We also developed a faculty toolkit, which has information on resources and best practices for your classroom. And I'm more than happy to share that link to people. It's an open Google Drive folder with a bunch of stuff in it. This kit and the trainings are informed by research that has been done at UAA. Something else we put on we just finished yesterday, actually, the 2022 housing fair for UAA students. And this is during April, which is National Fair Housing Month. In the fall, we will look forward to National Food Security Month, I think is what it's called. And so we'll have some specific stuff for that. This has really been our first in-person event since the pandemic. So the housing fair included community organizations and campus organizations. DSS was there, Res Life was there. We had Alaska Legal Services provide free information on what renters' rights are and the Alaska Landlord Tenant Law Acts. And we had Choosing Our Roots, which is one of our community partners now, to talk about what resources they offer in town for safely housing queer youth and transgender and non-binary youth who need assistance. And the Seawolf Pantry was there, of course, and we were there. It was a really good housing fair. HHSN also joined forces this year, continuing our partnership with the Alaska Poor People's Campaign. And that partnership has now expanded to also include Choosing Our Roots and Native Movement to collect donations over the winter semester for warm winter gear and personal hygiene products, books, chapstick, just little things like that that make living in the wintertime, especially if you're unsheltered, a little easier. And then we distributed those bags at these pop-up events that we had at different places around Anchorage. And a lot of that work was actually done by our CCEL student this year, Mohammed Khan, who is graduating and got accepted into Columbia University for an MPH program. So we are super proud of Mohammed and his work. Some of our members have also worked with individual students who needed one-on-one help this year. And that's a lot of the work that goes on behind the scenes and usually doesn't get recognized at all. We want to acknowledge publicly, though, that there are a lot of caring individuals at UAA, other students, staff members, faculty members who are doing this work behind the scenes, helping students find apartments, helping students get up on their feet, helping students just letting them know what the resources are that they're eligible for, providing food and things like that. So while we continue to work towards getting improved institutional acknowledgement and support for food and housing insecure students, we do want to thank everyone on the ground who is just showing up day after day and doing what you can do as individuals, again, with no resources or very limited resources. So we really appreciate that. And the last thing that we're, of course, very proud of this year is the soft opening of the Sea Wolf Pantry, which started this semester.
Thank you, Sally. The work that you all are doing with this is just so phenomenal. It's one of those things where you wish you didn't have to be doing it, but oh my gosh, it's really transformational. Thank you. We have another project that we want to highlight next here, and this is Brittany Howe's work. Brittany, do you want to pop on?
Yeah. So this is a project that we are still in the early stages of developing right now, but we have received an NIH grant for this work. It's actually through the National Institute on Aging. And I'm working on an interdisciplinary team with some names you've already seen in past slides: Leslie Redmond in dietetics and nutrition, also Amber Worthington in communication, Vanessa Haratsika at CHD, and Gabriel Garcia in the MPH program. And so as a team of 5 faculty members, we are currently in the process of hiring 10 undergraduate research assistants. That's a lot. I need help. If you know any undergraduate students who are interested in getting involved, please let me know. 10 undergraduates and 2 graduate students to help develop a curriculum over the summer, and then deliver this curriculum beginning in the fall, which is a positive, hope-based, healthy aging curriculum for diverse older adults in Anchorage, generally living in low-income, independent housing communities. These are apartment complexes, not nursing homes, and the students are highly trained by the time they are able to deliver this program. So we teach things like, this is what normal aging looks like, and if you start to see these other things, this is abnormal aging. This is when we start to go to a doctor for these sorts of aches or pains or memory loss. It's not just teaching about what aging should look like, it teaches what aging could look like, that it's never too late to engage in health promotion behaviors. Particularly, we want to increase fruit and vegetable intake and physical activity as our primary outcome measures. So it is a student-led project that is innovative. I am not teaching this. We are working in 4 housing communities, mostly with Cook Inlet Housing Authority, but also Alaska Housing Finance Authority, where the students will be teaching these classes every week for 15 weeks, the entire semester. Students will assist in all areas of this community engaged project, from the curriculum development, which begins very soon, to the data collection, analysis, to teaching the program, writing the journal articles, and even we have funding to bring students to present the results at the Gerontological Society of America conference with me in November of 2023 and again in 2024. So as I mentioned before, I am still currently hiring research assistants. They need to be undergraduate students, which means they're taking at least 6 credit hours of credits in the fall and in the spring. Let me know if you have any interested students for next year. Thank you.
Thanks, Brittany. And I think that you have some flyers that highlight that position as well that we can share with folks, and we can share the link. Right?
I do. Give me 1 second. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll make sure we're sharing it out in the CCEL newsletter. Another reason to be subscribed to the CCEL newsletter if you aren't already. All right. Well, moving on now to another really excellent program that is in its second year. I want to turn it over. Whoops. My mouse is real finicky today. Turn it over to Dr. Sarah Buckingham to share a bit about the Community Engaged Research Faculty Fellows Program. And Sarah, you can, I know you're here.
I am here, yeah.
Just let me know when you want me to advance the slides. I am
perfect. Excellent. Yeah, so great to see everybody here today. So the Community Engaged Research Faculty Fellows Program is a program we started up last year, meant to help support community engaged research efforts by UAA faculty, really through a community of practice and sharing with one another. So Brittany and I were able to facilitate this wonderful group this year. And we focused on our partnership development, on community engaged research methodologies, and then on disseminating community engaged research as well. We had a fall kickoff, and then we had monthly meetings throughout the past academic year. Some of those meetings looked like brown bag presentations and workshops coming from the faculty in our group themselves. And some of those meetings looked like design clinics, and really this community where we were able to come together, have discussions about our community engaged research, ask open and vulnerable questions, and get feedback from groups on what was going on with our own research partnerships. And then this year as well, we paired up with some writing groups. So in the fall, we had Jenny McNulty, who some of you know, offering, Jenny McCurdy, offering up weekly community engaged writing groups in the fall. And then we also had a writing group in the spring that some folks participated in. Can you go to the next slide? So here are our faculty fellows for this year. We had a really phenomenal group, many of whom are here today. So thank you all so much for engaging in this community together. And new this year, thanks to a couple of my doctoral students, we put together a SharePoint website as well that allowed us to pull together a number of resources that are helpful for fellows. So if you just want to click through, Marcia, I put in a couple of screenshots of the things that we had here. So we had recommendations for books, seminars, websites, podcasts, and then a whole host, if you can go to the next slide, whole host of journals that are community engaged, videos that folks could access, and then specific articles and worksheets as well. So big thank you to my students, Andrew Ritchie and Charnel Vale, who helped us design that and put that together. So if you can go to the next slide, we were chatting as a fellows group last week or the week before, who knows, time flies these days, about what we were getting out of the program with one another. And really finding that we found a great sense of community with one another. We were able to step into this space and offer up wisdom and gain from the wisdom of others. And then really also having space and time to prioritize community engaged work. Marcia spoke a lot about how limited resources we had, and oftentimes I think of those as fiscal, but oftentimes they're also time resources. And we struggle, I can imagine, as you probably struggle like me as faculty, to make sure that you have enough time to be able to meet about your work and put that time forward. And so this allowed us to set aside time on a monthly basis to really meet about our work and engage with other folks. So that's it. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ping me and I can answer them in the chat window.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And Brittany, I know you ran it for part of the year as well. Thank you so much for your work on this. It sounds like a really wonderful community that you all have created. And thank you to all the participants as well. Well, I get now to move on to the Selkregg Community Engagement and Service Learning Award. And before we announce this year's winner, we have a little bit of an update from the past two award recipients. A little bit first about the Selkregg Award. The Selkregg Community Engagement and Service Learning Award was established in 2005, and it draws from a memorial fund established in the names of Dr. Lydia Selkregg, a city planner and UAA professor, who works passionately for Anchorage's ports and watersheds, rural and urban welfare, and civil rights. And Fred Selkregg Jr., a longtime Alaskan who was a civil rights activist, community leader, and spiritual teacher. The Selkreggs brought a commitment to openness, truth, democracy, and social justice to all their work. And this $5,000 award supports faculty in the development of community engaged research, creative activity, and academic service learning projects. This is such a valuable thing that the Selkreggs have given to us and to our faculty, and we're so appreciative of getting to give out this award every year. Looking at previous winners, so one of the previous winners from the 2020 Selkregg Award was Brittany Howell for her project she's going to talk about in a moment. She's going to give us a little bit of an update because due to COVID, her project was delayed a little bit. It's hard to get together and do things that are improv comedy when you can't be in person. And so we're going to hear a little bit first about the project via a video that was created, and then Brittany's going to share a little bit about how this went or how it's going. So first, the video.
Our project is called Improv to Improve, an improvisational communications training program for dementia caregivers in Anchorage. Improv to Improve is a novel training for dementia caregivers to build resilience and improve social caregiving situations. Family caregivers will learn and practice communication techniques to build skills around accepting the unexpected, dealing with uncertainty, and responding positively to their loved ones with dementia in a fun and social environment. Family caregivers will be able to build social relationships with each other, engage in self-care practices through humor and play, and increase their mastery of compassionate caregiving practices through the basic components of improvisational acting, communication, and connection.
The demographics of Alaska are changing, and we have a faster rate of growth of people over the age of 65 than any other state in the country. And although most older adults will not develop dementia, currently more than 8,000 Alaskans are living with Alzheimer's or a related dementia. Often, support for people with dementia falls to family and loved ones who have little support. So we wanted to partner with local nonprofits to help teach some communications techniques that may be helpful at home and address the burden that these caregivers may be feeling in a fun and supportive environment.
We partnered with Alzheimer's Resource of Alaska, Scared Scriptless Improv Troupe, and Cyrano's Theater Company right here in Anchorage.
The 6-week program is scheduled for Thursday evenings from March through April 2022.
We received the Selkregg Award before COVID-19 pandemic, so we've all been very patiently waiting for a good time to move forward with this program. And the Selkregg Award funded everything, the project entirely from student salaries to the theater rental space to the participant incentives. We really could not have conducted this innovative program without the CCEL Selkregg Award.
We hope that participants find useful takeaways from this project to help them during at-home caregiving tasks. We also hope that this class structure is fun and helps improve caregiver mood. Our next steps are to complete the 6-week program. Then we'll be helping Dr. Howell with data entry, analysis, and report writing to see what impact we had on caregiver outcomes.
It's so cool seeing the pictures of that project that it finally got to happen. Brittany, would you like to give us any updates?
Gosh, that video mostly said it all. So since that video was shot, we have enrolled participants. It's still a bit of a struggle, even though some of us think we're post-pandemic. Guess what? We're not quite yet. So we are doing this class with a fairly small group, but it's a pilot. It's so innovative that this is the kind of thing where we're not super sure if it's going to work yet until we test it out with a small group. So this is actually really good. Additionally, doing things like improvisational acting and comedy really is best in small groups. We're wearing masks, we're staying as distant as we can, but we have currently 6 participants in the program. We have 1 session left. Next week is our last one. People are already sad that it's the end. I have one of these 6 people who wants to audition for the troupe and continue performing improv in public. So the interest is there, the connection is there. It seems like some of our outcomes are going to be there. We will see. The participants are great. Even though there's only 6, they range in age from 30 to their 80s. So half of our group is older adults. And as you can imagine, that is a major component of the caregiver, the unpaid or family caregiver experience is it's older adults taking care of their spouse who has been diagnosed. So it looks like already this training is helpful in terms of improving mood and releasing some caregiver burden, at least in the moment, but also providing some skills so that people are able to try new things at home that do not set each other up for conflict and instead for positive communication. That's about it.
Thanks, Brittany. What a cool project. It's such a creative idea too. Thank you for sharing. Well, we have a second Selkregg previous award already from last year that we want to note as well. Last year's award winners were Drs. Leslie Redman and Amanda Walsh, and they worked on establishing a student-supported campus food pantry to improve food insecurity at UAA, as we heard from earlier with Sally. Certainly a significant issue on the UAA campus. So we have their video here to see a little update.
The name of our project is establishing a student-supported campus food pantry to improve food security at UAA. The goal of our project is multifaceted. First and foremost, we wanted to establish a campus food pantry to provide food to students in need. Secondary goals included creating volunteer and service opportunities for students, as well as raising awareness of hunger on campus and working towards the destigmatization of student food insecurity. Nearly half of students at UAA experience some type of food insecurity, which is defined as limited access to adequate food. It's a nationwide issue, and it has been associated with poor health outcomes, including increased risk for chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes. For college students, it can also actually negatively impact student success. And research has shown that food insecure college students are more likely to report a lower GPA, have overall lower energy, and a decreased ability to concentrate. Since student success is a core value at UAA, we have to explore ways to enhance student success across the spectrum, both academically and within the social and environmental supports. Establishing this on-campus food pantry through this project addresses this basic need of UAA students.
We have the support of several different local organizations for this project, including the Food Bank of Alaska, the American Heart Association of Alaska, and the Alaska Food Policy Council. We're fortunate that there are so many excellent organizations within Alaska that share the same passion for improving health through access to food.
This project is a work in progress. There are so many pieces to establishing a food pantry that need to come together at just the right time. One of our biggest challenges was finding an actual physical space for the pantry. And we're so grateful to Linda Hernandez and her advising team for finding a space within the Student Success Center. We also worked very closely with the UA Foundation and the Student Health and Counseling Center nurse practitioner, Betty Bang, to establish an overall UAA food security fund to receive monetary donations. We've worked with the Union of Students to pass a resolution in support of the pantry, and we're also spreading the word through Club Council and lots of different other communication channels to recruit for a student board. The board will allow students to be directly involved in all the decision-making and the management of the pantry, giving them a direct sense of ownership and a deeper investment in its success. This will support the pantry's overall sustainability and longevity. Students serving on the board will be provided with a unique opportunity to gain experience and skills related to leadership, strategic planning, volunteer management, marketing, and fundraising.
We're also really excited to have hired our very first student pantry manager, and she's working alongside us to get the pantry up and running. Our current priorities include stocking the shelves, marketing, fundraising, and because we're still navigating changing circumstances due to the pandemic, we planned a soft opening for the pantry in March and are currently operating by appointment only. Once we're more established and can coordinate with regular volunteers, we're aiming for an official grand opening in September to align with Hunger Action Month, and we'll expand our hours of operation.
The Selkregg Award has been invaluable to us in support of this project. We were able to purchase initial supplies as well as fund our student pantry manager position. We're so thankful for this support. In the future, we'd like to work towards the expansion of services available through the pantry. We would love to continue our partnership with the food bank and to eventually be offering other foods from commodity programs. We also want to expand perishable foods like fresh produce, dairy products, eggs, and meat. Finally, we're hopeful that continued support and awareness will allow us to offer additional opportunities for students, such as internships or practicum experiences.
Another wonderful project. I don't know if I saw Leslie here, but I do see Amanda. Amanda, are there any updates that you want to give that weren't in that video that you want to share?
The only maybe mini update is we have our student pantry manager that will stick with us until she graduates, which is awesome. So she'll be with us for another few weeks, and she really has been amazing with all that she's helped out with. We are going to continue to have the pantry open during the summer. So if you have students that are interested or in need, it'll be 1 day a week. That'll continue to be run through Linda's group. And then, as was mentioned by Sally and in the video, starting in the fall, it'll be launched full steam ahead. And we're also looking into having different groups participate, whether it's student groups that are helping out to volunteer, or even some staff and faculty that have put in their name to say, hey, I'd like to be there and to help out, whether it's stocking the shelves or even spending an hour or two helping to bag food for the students. So if you know of yourself or any groups or any other faculty or staff or administration that are interested, send them our way. Thanks.
Thanks, Amanda. What a wonderful project. And what a wonderful way that our UAA community is banding together to support students too. Thank you. Well, if you already don't have some feel-good emotions coming up from hearing about those two projects, next up, we get to announce our 2022 Selkregg Award recipient. So our award recipient for this year is Dr. Adam Dunstan for his project Salmon Stewardship, an ethnographic research project with the Kanatsi Indian tribe. I realize, I'm sorry that I mispronounced that. I'm gonna guess I did. Adam, hopefully that you can correct me. We're so excited to award Adam this Selkregg. The committee really had a tough time deciding. There were a lot of wonderful projects, but they immediately felt drawn to something that examined salmon and local indigenous tribes. That connection was really important to the Selkregg family, so we're excited to support this. I know Adam is here today, and he's going to share a little bit more about this project. Adam, do you want to jump on the mic?
I'd love to. Thank you so much. Yagalidu, Adam Dunstan, Shi'iji Kenlan. My name is Adam Dunstan. I'm professor of anthropology down at KPC, and I'm fortunate to know quite a bit of you on the call. I do want to talk about the project, but before I do that, I would like to say Chikanak, Janan, thank you to several different people and groups. First and foremost, the Selkregg family, for your generosity in funding this award for several years and for this specific project. Grants like this awards like this are essential for community-based research, and they have echoes long after the last dollar is spent in terms of knowledge preserved and experiences gained, as we saw with these previous two projects, and just solid work done that would not happen otherwise. So thank you to the Selkregg family. I was grateful for this award, not just for the support of the project, but because I know that Lydia and Greg were so devoted, among other topics, to environmental risk, to watersheds, to civil rights, to spirituality, a lot of topics which intersect with this project. So it felt like a strong fit, and I really am grateful for the honor of the award. I want to also thank CCEL for the many amazing things you do around campus, including administering this award. I want to thank the Community Engaged Fellows cohort of 2021. That was just a fantastic space to flesh out ideas and get suggestions. I wanted to thank Kenai Peninsula College, which has always strongly encouraged us to do community engaged projects. And finally, most of all, Kinaitsi Indian Tribe. I was sort of brought onto the project. This was already something that had arisen out of the community, and I am just honored to have been a part of it and so grateful to have been invited on. Next slide. Sorry, I just realized I hadn't set my phone timer, so now I'm doing that. So a couple of goals of the project, just to kind of briefly let you know what the project is. I could go on and on for hours like any proper professor, but I will keep it brief. Basically, we are looking over several centuries and then extending into the present at the cultural role of salmon as a cultural keystone species for Katnut Ana Dena'ina people, for the Kenai River Dena'ina people, extending all the way into the present with the Kinaitsi Indian Tribe. And we are doing that through oral history interviews with elders, as well as with surveys with a large swath of the present day Kinaitsi tribal population, as well as archival work. And we're looking at things like indigenous knowledge about the salmon, how the salmon have been sustainably related to, what was done long before colonialism to make sure that the salmon were kept in a sustainable way, practices of sharing, lots of different things there. Next slide. And the other thing we want to understand is not just what that relationship was and is, but how it's been affected over time, especially over the past couple of centuries, with pretty drastic environmental changes, as well as sociocultural changes with population increases, colonialism, and any other number of things. So what has come of that relationship and what has affected it? And we're kind of setting up this big long history of people-salmon relationships, which I'm like super excited about from an ethnographic perspective. And we're using, again, archival research of things that have and haven't been published here in our archives, as well as interviews, as well as surveys. So that's all exciting. But what I think is doubly exciting about it is that the funding that's being provided through the Selkregg Award is funding the ethnographic portion, but then there's also a genetics portion of this project that's being done by researchers down at University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that one right, which as I understand is actually where Lydia Selkregg got her PhD. So kind of cool connection there. And they are doing genetic research along with Kinaitsi Indian Tribe personnel to kind of do a genetic 2,000-year history of the salmon. So we're kind of doing this interwoven story of people sustaining salmon and salmon sustaining people over millennia that bridges both hard sciences and, I hate the word soft sciences, so I'll say social sciences, interwoven. So I am excited about the project and again, so grateful for the funding. Next slide. I'm like erroneously trying to click the screen because I forget that it's not a share screen. Okay, so the funds will be going to all sorts of wonderful things that will help the work move forward, including audio recorders and camcorders and things so that we can both collect and preserve the oral history and the interviews, not just for the purposes of research, but for educational uses by Kinaitsi Indian Tribe and for their own purposes in preserving very valuable and endangered knowledge from elders for future generations, which I can't stress enough how endangered that knowledge is and how important it is to record and preserve it. And also interpreting data together with as a community, some software that's going to help us called Deduce, that's going to help us code in real time between KPC and Kinaitsi personnel. So it's truly the whole community and not just a professor doing the data analysis. And it's also going to fund a student worker who will get experience with doing collaborative ethnographic work with indigenous communities, which is something we have no small need of in Alaska. And then finally, just helping us better understand our future here in the beautiful Kenai Peninsula and where we're going with salmon, which is central to us all. So, and kind of informing those discussions about salmon management, which are just critical down here. So thank you so much for the award. We are very, very grateful and honored. I know there is a lot of amazing projects and I'm grateful for the funding. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Adam, for your work on this. I have to admit, as I've been listening to everyone talk about their projects, and in particular this one, there's something just so exciting about people nerding out about their topics that they're excited about and ready to work on. So thanks for this project. The last thing that we're going to highlight are a couple awards that we have. We have 2 awards that we're going to hand out this year. The first is the Community Builder Award, and our second will be our Excellence in Community Engagement. So to start with, our Community Builder Award this year goes to the Alaska AHEC Scholars Program. And so it goes to the whole program. And I'm going to read a bit that the person that nominated this group shared with us, because I thought it was such a valuable thing. First of all, it will give some context for those of you who aren't familiar with this program, and share a little bit why this is such a deserving group. The Alaska AHC Scholars Program is open to all health program students across the state, regardless of where they live or attend school. And the main goal of the program is to expose and prepare health professionals, training students for practice in rural or underserved communities. The 2-year program requires each scholar complete 40 hours of training and 40 hours of community-based learning each year. The AHEC program partners with healthcare, education, and nonprofit organizations across the state to provide opportunities for experiential learning, including project-based learning such as a maternal health education safe sleep baby box project and health screenings for Head Start program participants. The Alaska AHEC Scholars Program has been in place since 2017, with 103 scholars having completed to date and 93 scholars currently enrolled and targeted to complete. This program relies on the support of faculty from all the health programs to recruit students, provide support, and project-based learning. Scholars are matched with placement opportunities that can complement their interests and career goals while also ensuring experiential learning with vulnerable and underserved populations. These placements can be research-based, clinical, or healthcare promotion and outreach activities. The AHC Scholars Program focuses on core topic areas that better prepare students for rural and underserved practice. Core topic areas include cultural competency, social determinants of health, practice transformation, behavioral health integration, interprofessional education, and other current and emerging topics specific to Alaska, such as suicide, geriatrics, and trauma-informed care. Since inception, 93% of Alaska Scholars graduates reported an increased level of knowledge in all the core topic areas as a result of this program, and other scholars' evaluation has been equally encouraging, with 95% indicating the program met or exceeded their expectations. The hard work and dedication of the Alaska AHEC staff, regional AHEC centers, and their host organizations, as well as community partners, has been essential to the success of this program. And the nominator said they could not possibly think of a better program suited for this award, and we agree. Congratulations, AHEC Scholars Program. I know a representative from the program was hoping to attend. If you're in attendance and want to draw your attention or draw our attention to you, please say hello. I know today was a busy day for many. Well, congratulations, Alaska AHC Scholars Program. Some truly amazing work. Our next award, our final award for today, is the Excellence in Community Engagement Award. And this award recognizes stellar integration of community engaged teaching, research, and service on campus with the community and across the state of Alaska. And I'm really happy to announce that this year's recipient is Professor Kimberly Pace for her really, truly outstanding continued work leading the Model UN. And this is the first, at least in the time that I've been at the center, all of the nominations that came in to support Professor Pace came from students, and we received numerous nominations from students. And I've pulled several excerpts, and perhaps this will be a bit long, but I gotta tell y'all, I was having a lot of trouble cutting what to share. I I want to share a bit about what those students said about Professor Pace and her work with Model UN. Professor Pace always plays a crucial role in creating engagement within UAA and between UAA and the local community. Through her penchant for meaningful and considerate connections with students, she has helped expand the student government membership at UAA, referred students to the Seawolf debate team, and has created pathways for students to pursue their dreams through the programs at UAA and beyond. And while she diligently dedicates herself to the political science department at UAA to ensure that the program not only offers high quality education, but high quality students as well. Professor Pace is an exemplary educator, the kind that each student is drawn to because they can feel the kindness, brilliance, and heart that she exudes. The most memorable teachers in my educational experience are the ones that can see the potential within their students and help bring it to fruition, and Kimberly is a model example of that. Her integration of student participation across the state is vital to Alaska's continuation as a progressive and international frontier. I have seen firsthand the confidence, critical thinking, and international curiosity that develops in every student that participates in this program. I cannot emphasize enough that Kimberly and this program are essential to the future of Alaska and Alaska politics. I do believe that Kimberly is indispensable in this initiative. Professor Pace's character and community engagement is evident in all of her classes, but especially with the Model UN program at the UAA. Model UN is an extraordinary display of community and is the only class I have ever taken where students truly care about one another. Professor Pace encourages students to work together to further their leadership potential and hone their academic skills. Passionate members work alongside Dr. Pace to instill confidence in young scholars by creating an academic environment that encourages participation and leadership skills. These students are then able to display the skills during the Model UN conference. In addition, Model UN program feels like a family. I feel so connected with my fellow classmates, the university, and with Professor Pace, and have been so blessed to be a part of this community. Despite all that she currently does to engage students in the community, the greatest merit of Professor Pace is her work, and is that her work is genuinely warm, considerate, and supportive. She provides that to all her students. She lifts so many of us up during stressful and dark times. She creates time and space for students to speak with her, not just about academia, but how we are doing as well. A friend of mine who is an international student is experiencing difficulties pursuing an education here due to several factors. And this student has told me time and time again how thankful and lucky he is to be supported by Professor Pace in his learning. There is a reason students from many years past come back to reconnect or stay in touch with Professor Pace and even help out with the Model UN program. When UAA talks about putting students first, she is one of the few that I think of first at this university. The greatest difficulty for me in nominating Professor Pace is that I can't write more about her. It's clear that the entirety of UAA, Anchorage, and the Alaska community are fortunate to have Kimberly Pace on our team. Well, if that isn't a compelling argument for Professor Pace being named our Excellence in Community Engagement Award recipient, I don't know what is. Kimberly, I believe that you're here. At the very least, please draw our attention to you so that we can all give you all of the silent award accolades. There you are.
Thank you so much. You know, you just never know what your students are going to do. Thank you. Wow. They really are amazing, you know, and it's the reason that I do what I do is because of them. And I'm just so honored to have been working with these students for, not the same students for 20 years, but, you know, just have been really blessed with amazing students year after year after year. And it's a testament to the quality of students that we have here at UAA and the opportunities that are provided for them. So I deeply thank CCEL for the support of Molly UN over the years, but also just for the different types of opportunities that are afforded to our students. So thank you so very much. It's awesome. Thank you so much. I have shorter hair. I have shorter hair. That was an older picture, but that's the one you got. It's a good picture, so I'll go with it. Thanks so much.
We were trying to make it a surprise, and so we couldn't reach out.
That's okay.
A much deserved award and recognition. Thank you for all of the work that you do. And hopefully everyone is feeling all the good feels now and thinking about all of this amazing work that has happened. And I'm sure while we highlighted some wonderful faculty and projects and students, we know that there is so much more happening on campus and in our community that is really transformative. So thank you all for everything that you do. As we wrap things up today, I just want to note a couple things. First, if you don't follow us on social media and if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, please do so. I like an open door policy. If you have questions or you want to work on a community-engaged project, if you're trying to get started, my door is open. Please feel free to reach out. I mean, my virtual door, I suppose we will say, is open, at least for now. Hopefully soon a physical door. And I look forward to connecting with anyone who's interested in developing work like this for their class or with their students. The last thing that I want to just mention one more time is a note about our faculty intensive that's happening this May 6th. We'll be at the Anchorage Museum and then utilizing downtown Anchorage to think through the different ways that we can look at community engaged work, service learning work, and place-based learning, and how we might be able to integrate those things into our classes. And more than anything, my goal with bringing us together for this intensive is just that, bringing us together and starting to reinvigorate this sense of community that I have always so deeply loved about CCEL. I know that over the course of the pandemic, wherever we are in the pandemic, I don't even really know where we are now. I wouldn't say post, but we're not fully in it. I know that over the course of it, it has been difficult for folks to connect and feel inspired and feel creative. And I hope that this intensive in May and the upcoming summer serves as an opportunity for folks to reinvigorate a little bit and get the creativity flowing and start to connect or reconnect and make a few more collaborations. Once again, I want to thank you all for your time and your energy on this kind of dreary Friday afternoon. I appreciate you all being here today and, like I said, bringing all of your energy. And I look forward to next year having this event in the library and eating delicious snacks potentially, and getting to look at all the CCEL posters together. Thanks again, everyone. Thank you to Nicola for keeping this organized behind the scenes. And thank you for everyone who had their projects, the CCELs, anyone else that I'm forgetting right now. Thanks for all your work. See you soon.
Thank
you.